Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Friday Night Lookback, now with improved haircut. I am
For him, not me.
Yeah, it's fresh. I am Bo Monday Price Sports Report, obviously on alongside.
David Barry.
Tonight I was at Nederland-Weider in a really close, exciting game. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. Ended up being 50-32. Yeah, I am right on that one. David, where were you at tonight?
Tonight, my game was not close or exciting. I was at PNG.
You like offense.
I was at PNG's 56-7 win. They rudely welcomed Baytown Lee to the district. Rudely welcomed them to the
Ganders.
To this Southeast Texas.
The
district.
Ganders. Just real quick. I mean, I think it kind of goes without saying, but this was one that Nederland really needed. This is one that I think kind of presses the restart button on a lot of things going on in their season. They can put behind the 0-3 mark, and you can put that into historical context all you want, but it doesn't really matter right now. And I think they understand that district is what really counts. And I think they came out tonight and really put forth that sort of effort. Some people may look at it and be like, oh, 50-32. Not like an entirely convincing win. Guys, Weider's good. Like, Weider is not anything to kind of brush aside and be like, oh, you should easily beat that team. I mean, I think that's legitimately going to be a team that's in playoff contention, in a few weeks when we get down to that point. So I think that was a really good win for Nederland. And it's kind of like this exhale, where it's like, all this pressure is building, and then the clock strikes zero in that game. It's like, can relax a little now. Like, we found our even footing. Like, because in your mind, you always put together, okay, where are these teams in terms of expectations? Who do we expect to be better than the other? And obviously, coming out of non-district, people were kind of unsure, where do we put Nederland? Do we put them above Weider? Where do we put them below another team? Like, where do we shuffle them? And I think it was really important for Nederland to win tonight to say that, okay, this is a team that, is probably going to make it into the playoffs. And I mean, I don't want to put the horse behind the cart here, but I mean, I do think that Nederland is legitimately going to be a playoff team tonight. So, real quick, David, instead of going into the PNG, because I mean, that kind of speaks for itself more or less. I mean, just seeing that final score and how that Nederland-Weider game turned out, do you have any thoughts, on that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what I wanted to say was that through an 0-3 start, you look and Nederland still hasn't lost a district game since before either of us.
That's true.
Here. So
the streak lives on.
The streak is still there.
And these seniors have never lost to Weider either.
And
they never lost to Weider.
Nederland, they proved that, like you said, they're still going to be a contender in the district. Like you said, there's not really much for PNG. They beat a team that is...
They should have beat.
They're going to be...
By its score, they should have beat.
They're going to be in the bottom of the district. So... But no, I think with Nederland, they needed this one. I honestly said this might have been, as early as it is, probably their most important game, because if they fall, fall to 0-1 in district and 0-4
and the streak
overall,
gets broken,
and all of a sudden it just kind of snowballs. So
you're in quicksand and like you're dipping.
Yeah, so I think this was a big one, and next week they play Ozan. Ozan, they're gonna play Saturday against Lumberton. So. Yeah. They'll open their district. But no, honestly, I do think that was a very key win for Nederland. And, Sage Say, he did big things.
Sage Say things. Yeah.
Yes.
I think going inside the statistics of it a little bit and just some quick analysis of that game, Sage Say's, I've said to the beginning, he has the potential to be the offensive MVP, of the district, in my opinion. He's what makes it go. Great quote from, I didn't get the page, but there's a great quote from Jeff Matthews, and I'm going to paraphrase it. It's pretty much, you can tell how well you contain Sage Say by looking at the scoreboard. And I think that's true. Nederland puts up 50 points, Sage Say has 5 touchdowns. 3 of which were passing, 2 of which were on the ground. So, he's what makes it go. They had a big loss tonight. Jace Bordelon, their leading wide receiver, was left early with a leg injury. He's going to have an MRI tomorrow. You're going to probably be watching this tomorrow. So today, Newman was not confident about that. He said, I think it's going to be more on the serious side. So I don't want to, jump ahead with anything. So we'll just update you guys as we get, details on that. But I think they still have Austin Krauts. And junior running back Austin Krauts is a heck of a athlete and a heck of a weapon. He showed that tonight, scoring with his legs and as a receiver. So, and they have Marcus Barton. I mean, I don't want to get into it, but they should be fine. Just real quick, the other thing, just real quick about PNG that I didn't think about, we got to start looking at some of the record books for quarterbacks in PNG, because Adam Morse tonight had 6 touchdowns, which, according to his dad on Twitter, ties the single game record for PNG, last set in 1999. And so I think he could be headed for a really special season.
He could, and just a very quick thing, it seems like, and it's been very unfortunate, that the injury bug has hit some key players on teams this year. I mean, Bordelon at Nederland, Jack Giblin at PNG, CJ Levine at Memorial. And some places you've seen him step up. Like PNG tonight, Keenel McZeal, the sophomore, I mean, he has all the potential in the world. He had 7 catches for 115 and 2 touchdowns. And, I mean, he looked
kind of
impressive.
a little bit of a coming out game.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he told me after the game, he said he was nervous. He got that first touchdown, and he said it kind of took him back to when he was on JV, and he calmed down. But yeah,
and they need guys like that to step up with Giblin.
Yeah, they're gonna need it, but
it can't just be Sparks.
He looked good. Sparks looked good. I mean, whole offense looked good. But these injuries, though. I mean, it happens. It's football, but boy, you hate to see it happen with these players.
And especially, I mean, you hate to see it happen to anybody, but it just happens to be that there's some notable players. I kind of want to move this along. We could probably talk about District 22-5A all day. Channelview tonight, I think that's your upset special, 70 to 49 over Memorial, and I think you're looking at a point in the season now where Memorial's going to have to regroup, look at some things with their defense, maybe shuffle the deck a little. Obviously, they're doing it without Levine, who's one of the best DBs in the area. I don't think this is like complete panic mode. I mean, it's a reason to be a little worried, but, this is the first game of district. They have a lot of time to make up.
Yeah, the one thing that's been concerning, and I don't know the exact numbers, but it's been the defense. I'm pretty sure they gave up over 50 to Lamar. They gave up, I think, 42 to George Ranch and 70 to Channelview. I mean, Channelview does have...
Vider held him to 44. I mean, just as like a point of reference there.
Channelview has an explosive offense, but if you're a team like Memorial, I mean, giving up that
explosive, but not atomic explosive. Like mortar shell explosive.
It's tough, but Westbrook plays Channelview next week.
And that looks great now. That looks like a great game. That's where I'm going next week, because Westbrook comes back and almost catches North Shore tonight. They lose 29-27. I mean, that team looks legit, for real. I don't think North Shore is that bad, like on the other end of that. I think, Westbrook is definitely, for real, a playoff contender. And for them to play Channelview, a team coming off a big win, I think that's going to be really interesting next week.
Yeah, no, that'll be a big one. Another game that I know coaches hate the moral victory thing, but West Orange Stark played Richmond Foster, a team that had almost 4 times as many students as West Orange did. And
that shows up on the field, too.
They lost 17-14. Deontay Thompson scored both touchdowns, a receiving touchdown and a pick 6. I mean, doing what DT does.
Good.
But,
so good.
I mean, you look at West Orange, and, I mean, they have a culture at that school where they are not afraid to play anybody, and you see it. They would probably play a 6A if a 6A
would take them.
Exactly. But no, West Orange next week, they're going to play Newton. I'll be there.
Which looked great at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and now Newton, they lost to Orangefield. I forget what the score.
26-20.
26-20. I mean, right now, I know Newton's dealing with some
1-4.
Yeah, they're dealing with things. I know the health of their coach, WT, is weighing on them. But it's not obviously right now the same Newton that you've seen in the past, certainly in the last 2 years. But it'll hopefully, I think it'll still be a good game. 2 very powerful traditional programs. But congrats to Orangefield, obviously, for the win.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'll be up in Newton for that one.
Smalley's gonna be wondering why he doesn't get front page coverage.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's an interesting point. Like, when's the last time Orangefield beat Newton?
Yeah, that's a big one.
If ever.
That's a big one for Orangefield. They have another non-district, but heading into your district play with West Orange, with HJ, that's a big confidence boost to beat a team that you haven't beaten in a few years. So big win.
Thursday night, Central beats Goose Creek Memorial, and it takes them. They come out right out of the gate and really, beat up on them. And I think that's gonna just further prove again when we're looking at the shuffling of it, guys. November 1st, Saturday, 2 p.m. at the Butch. That's when PNG plays Central. And that's probably going to be for district.
Yeah, I mean that looks like
it's
going to be a great one.
The only thing that can alter that, I think, is MCM, is Mid County Madness. If Nederland can and will, and has not will like certainty, but has the capability of sneaking up on PNG, even though I think the Indians will be favored in that one, that game's always close. I mean, no matter what the outside influences are of that one. Another, just real quick, LCM beat Silsby tonight, 28-14. I think that's a big win in that district in determining, how it's going to shake out. It's kind of a wild card between them, Jasper, and really whoever ends up fourth. I mean, Huffman and.
Yeah, it'll be a big one. Jasper, they won convincingly, 41-7
against Splendora.
They have a tendency to start the season out slow and come on strong later on, so that might just be a little proof of it.
And just another one real quick. I mean, Hardin Jefferson stays undefeated. I mean, they're going to silently end up, being one of the better teams in the area. I mean, 49-12 against Center. So that's your total there tonight. I'm looking over the scores. Not a whole lot more.
There's one I'll say that it should be probably one of the more underrated games, but it could be game of the week, or it should be Woodville versus Buna. They're both 4-0. They both won convincingly tonight in their district openers. It's going to be a good one. If you like small school football, I'd say watch that one, but it's going to be a good one.
Not a whole lot of other intriguing matchups going on next week. Our two 6A schools definitely do have interesting games between Westbrook at Channelview and then Port Arthur Memorial at Deer Park. They don't get a week off. They go to Deer Park, and that's a tough one. I mean, that's a tough one. LaPorte's, so they got to regroup quickly and gear up for that. In addition, P&G plays Goose Creek Memorial next week, I believe. Indians will be favored in that one. Nederland is hosting Ozan.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting any other ones in that district.
Vider goes to Baytown League.
Vider goes to Baytown League. That's a bounce back opportunity for Vider. They should win that game. And other than that, I think that's really we just got done our first week of district, which is great. Just because again, it's some of these games that matter, in some of these games that count towards something at the end. I mean. And again, it's in our minds thinking, where is everybody going to end up? And I think we get a little bit of a better idea following tonight's games how that's going to be.
Absolutely. With one more thing, with Nederland, it all comes down to Sage Say's health. And, he had cramps. He was dealing with cramps early on in the season. I mean, if he can stay healthy with as much as he runs the ball, Nederland's a contender.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this week's episode, and we will see you next time.